So for now, we have worked exclusively in Cube in all the videos on behavioral anomaly detection. However, you can also use change points and anomalies in the DataMiner dashboards module. In order to do that, you will need a recent version of DataMiner, at least a feature release 10.3.3 or a main release 10.4.0. And you will also need an indexing database, meaning an Elasticsearch database or an OpenSearch database, or you will need a storage as a service. Once you have that, you will find under queries in dashboards, you will find data source get behavioral change events. And this gives you a list of all change points that were detected in your system. Now, we will be using this queries interface in DataMiner dashboards. This is a very powerful feature with a lot of options. So by no means we will cover everything. If you want to have more information, go check out the DataMiner dashboards course. But I do hope in this video to give you a few examples of what you can do with this data source. Now, in the package for this course, a few sample dashboards were included, and you can find those in DataMiner dashboards, augmented operations, course, and then behavioral anomaly detection. Now, to start, let's first have a look at what is included in this get behavioral change events data source. For that, I will make a new dashboard and go to the queries, and I make a new query, and I get the behavioral change events. So let me drag that on this dashboard, and then I will visualize it as a table. So as I said, this contains a table with all change points that were detected on your system. So the columns contain the parameter ID, so the parameter on which the change point was detected, anomalies, whether the change point was marked as an anomaly or not, so corresponding to the dark square in Cube or the light square in Cube, and then also the change type, so the level shift, outlier, flatline, increase, whether in case of a level shift it was a level shift up or down, or in case of an outlier whether it was an outlier up or down, and then also the start and the end time, so when the change point started and when it ended. Now, if you add the select operator, you have a few more columns here that you can add. You can find a complete overview of all columns that you can add in the DataMiner docs. Later in this video, I will make use of the element ID column, which just contains the ID of the element the change point was detected on. All right, now let's construct our first example of a dashboard. For that, I will go to this first sample dashboard, show anomalies on a fixed element. And what we want to do here is we want to show in a table all anomalies that were detected on the server monitored element that we encountered in the previous video. And then underneath that table, if I select a row in the table, I want to show a trend graph of the parameter on which a change point was detected and around the time that that change point was detected. So in order to do that, I will of course make a new query. Let me call that anomalies on a single element. Okay, so I do get behavioral change events. So as I showed you before, this contains a list of all change points on your system. So what I want to do now is I want to filter this on only the change points on the server monitored element. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the element name available in this data source. So I will have to filter on element ID, and I will have to look this up in Cube. So you do that by right-clicking the element and selecting properties. And then you have here the ID of the element. So let me copy that over to my DataMiner dashboard. I take the filter method contains and I paste it here. And now you can see that only the change points that were detected on this server monitored element are shown. Now, I only want to show the anomalies. So let me create another filter operator. And now I will filter on the column anomalous on the value true. All right, so this shows all the anomalies that I want to show. Now, I want to show a trend graph underneath it. So for that, I will have to add a line graph. And let me make this a bit bigger. And now I have to link this line graph to the change point that I selected in this table above. So in order to do that, we will have to go to this feeds data. So note that you will have to select a row in the table before this becomes visible. So this shows all the feeds that are exported by the table here. So you can see that there are 4 feeds that are exported. The first one, query rows, just contains all rows of the query. The elements contains the element on which the change point was detected. The parameters contains the parameter on which the selected change point was detected. And the time spans contains the time span from the start of the change point to the end of the change point. So in order to link this line graph to this feed, I pick this feed and I drag it to the line graph. So now it shows the trend graph of the parameter on which the change point was detected, but I also want to filter it on the time span from the start of the change point to the end of the change point. So I also drag that onto my line graph component. All right, and that's it. So as you can see, if I select another change point here, it will load another, the trend graph of another parameter. All right, so now a second example. Here I want to show all anomalies on a group of elements, not a single element. So the group of elements that I want to show is all elements that were contained in the package of this course. So as you can see in Cube, all elements of this course, all elements of this course start with this string augmented operations course. So we can use that, but unfortunately, as I said, the element name is not available in this get behavioral change events data source. So I will have to join this behavioral change events with the element information. And I do that using the join operation. So I start the same way. I create a new query, say alarming on a group of elements, and it's not alarming, but anomalies. All right. I get the behavioral change events, and then I use the join operator, and let's say we join on type left. It doesn't really matter whether you take type left or inner here. And then I get the element information, and then I join these two data sources on the element ID. Okay, let's have a look at what this gives. So as you can see, we still have a list of our change points that were detected on the system, but element information was joined to it on the right. Now, I only need this element name column here. So let me filter out all the other columns. State element D alarm. Yep. All right. And now I want to filter out only the change points on the elements of this course. So that start with augmented operations course. So I will use the filter operator on name. Name should contain, and then augmented operations course. All right. And again, I want to show only the anomalies. So let me filter those out as well. Anomalous and value to true. All right. Now, as before, I want to show a trend graph underneath it. So that goes the same way as before. I pick a line graph and I link it to the feeds that are exported by this table. So parameters and time spans. All right. So this is the dashboard that shows all anomalies on a group of elements. Now, I have one last example, which I will leave as an exercise for you. So it's similar to the previous two, but a little bit different. So the idea is that here you will create a dashboard that shows a table with all anomalies that were found today. So that start after midnight today. And underneath it, you show a trend graph of the last 24 hours of the parameter on which the anomaly that you selected in the top table was found. So, all right, after completing this exercise, that was it for this video. As I said, the possibilities of DataMiner dashboards module and the DataMiner query interface are near endless, and by no means we have covered everything there is to know, but I hope to have given you a few ideas of how you can use change points and anomalies in the DataMiner dashboards. If you want more information, go check out the DataMiner dashboards course. If not, I will catch you in the next video.